Hey, we're recording, so we'll pick up where you left off last time, Jimmy.
Yeah.
We have Benny Best traveling through the Soviet Union. We
Well,
have
send over
no.
some music.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to it. I forgot to send it to you. Um, we have. Oh, that's just Combo Man again.
The mightiest Avenger.
Yep.
His Marvel wiki entry is amazing. Additional weakness is that Rick can access his powers only by consuming some combos, or else he will revert to his normal form.
It was a good time. It was a good time. They had a really great Spider-Man serial at the same time. I think I don't really remember, other than remembering that I liked it. But I didn't have discerning taste at that time, so it would probably have
I
more.
think combos are delicious.
No. They're the cereal that came with it. I like combos. I've eaten those in the past, but they had a Spider-Man cereal that goes out at like the same time that I remember being really good, but I remember nothing about it.
I'm sure the strategy was just to dump sugar into it.
That's what I'm saying. I think it had marshmallows in it, which makes it like
Yeah.
way better. So,
Yeah.
um, and one of those comics I was reading was a Static comic. Did you ever watch the Static Shock cartoon?
Yeah.
That was a really good cartoon.
I watched an expose of this because there was a really detailed YouTube breakdown about like how Static Shock happened, but also like how like an African American superhero with lightning powers became a thing.
Yeah.
Like because now it's a trope, and so they were talking about how it happened, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's because Static was so popular that it's like he invented the genre. That cartoon was super popular.
Yeah.
And then,
It was great.
yeah, because it was really good, yeah. And then, but before him, there was Black Lightning, and
Yeah.
he was invented. I'm pretty sure entirely for the Super Friends cartoon of the '60s.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Black Lightning, and then they changed it to avoid paying, like, basically, they didn't want to pay licensing.
Well, yeah. Well, the Static was a comic book first by Milestone Comics,
Yeah.
and they were one of those '90s companies, right? And their thing was that it was a bunch of black creators who wanted to make comic books that
Yeah.
you know were more had more African American representation, and
Yeah.
they made a bunch of them, and they did pretty well. And then I believe they got Static Shock started, and they started producing it,
Yeah.
and then they went out of business. I'm not sure if after the show was over or before. I think it was before. And DC bought them out, I believe. And some
Yeah.
of those characters became canon in DC Comics. Like Icon and Static are the only two I've ever heard of, but I don't know about the others.
Yeah.
Icon turned out to be really interesting, which I was surprised by. I didn't
I
realize.
don't remember anything.
He's a Superman duplicate,
Oh.
but he was written as like conservative, which maybe in the '90s that wasn't like as like shocking for an all black company, of which many of its artists and writers were pretty liberal at the time to write up.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting and he was presented as a straight hero, with whose views were challenged, but Okay.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really interesting to get one of those comics because I had to I had forgotten Milestone existed. There was another one that was pretty popular that Marvel ended up getting because they had an amazing animation team. I wish I could remember it. Anyways, so I realized while I was getting ready that I did not write any recap for the last one.
Okay.
So we'll work on this together. Is there a? There might be. I think we recorded the last one, so.
Yeah. Well, Benny passed superhero training or cop training.
Yeah, you spent a month getting or 2 months getting trained in the Soviet Union to become a police officer.
Yep.
And
I went on my first shift.
And you went on your first shift, and saw a little bit about how the Soviet superhuman society, the Soviet society is,
Yeah.
And contrary to my expectations, you were introduced to a lot of the negative aspects too, right off the bat. Some constant low to moderate level police corruption.
Yeah, and my boss is a vampire.
Yep. Some privileged positions amongst the higher ranks, and
and as a mutant, you get a life as long as you're in the system.
Yeah, and there was a general sort of callousness to the value of a single human person.
Yeah. So.
But we saw what we saw a little bit was a kind of a regimented society that dictated the positions of people and assigned them based upon a intelligentsia sort of dictated class structure,
Yep. But we stopped the bad guy.
You did, yeah. You guys stopped the bad guys and saved the sporting arena.
Yeah.
And Benny said, "I don't like this place. I think I want to leave."
Yep.
And plans to sneak away, I think.
Yeah.
Did we write down what city you were in? It was like Kirsov, I believe, or something like that, right?
Yeah. Is something close to the Black Sea, maybe?
No, I think. Well, it was not that close anymore. Was it Kursk or No, not Kharkiv. You were out of Ukraine. Vorens? Maybe?
Voron sounds familiar. Let's see.
Yeah, that's right, because there's the big lake with the island in the middle. Well, the river that's been dammed, so it's very wide.
Yeah, Voron's Oblast.
Yep. So, you're in the Vorens Oblast. You've got your position as a police officer, and you've got your life set and ahead of you, all planned out. Good retirement for a Soviet set out. You just got it made, really, and.
And due to being here under false pretenses, I really just have to get over the border.
Yeah, well, you're in the system now. You had a roommate who was named Fima Viktorov, I believe, right?
Yeah. I
who
love that dude.
was trying to get you set up with somebody. You gotta get married. You want out of the singles departments. You got some basic government slips in the mail that will entitle you to certain goods, minimum goods and services. Your payments, on top of that, can be processed at the local stores.
Mm-hmm.
You've been here another week. You got your first paycheck. You have a little bit of money. The system is mostly a cash society.
Yeah.
And yeah, there we are. I think that's about it. It is snowing. There's quite a bit of snow on the ground as it is late November. And it's cold, as you would expect. You're not like northern Russia. You're not even as high north as far as Moscow, but you're tremendously far inland, and you get all of the great extremes. So the average temperature of November daily mean is 32. So you're almost in December where the daily mean is 24 Fahrenheit, negative 4 Celsius. So solid 2 inches of snow on the ground. Not as much as I thought.
Counting on that.
Yeah.
A very important question: is there an airport in Voronezh Oblast?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is
an airport.
There is an airport in Voronezh.
Okay. That's helpful. I guess Benny needs to go for a walk and go do some shopping.
There it is.
Because he came early it's early morning, right?
Sure, it's whenever you want to be.
Okay. And have I done any more shifts, or just the one?
You've done a couple more. It's been a lot of sitting and waiting, which is a significant part of your daily routine, because you're not to interfere with the normal police work. Everything's been sectioned off and dictated according to your position. You've done you and your team have provided backup, but it's not been anything notable. The most interesting thing because that was like 2 or 3 days you did. So you've done another like 10 days of work. The most notable thing during that time was some gangs had gotten their hand on some battle suits and were shipping drugs up the Don River.
Right. Okay. I would like to have spent some time casing the airport.
All right.
Is there a roll?
Make a personality roll.
Okay. I mean, it's not. I don't think I had done anything illegal at this point.
Yeah, but really, I mean, you know that any real movement in between even oblasts is supposed to be kind of approved and checked with authorities at this point.
Yeah, which is why I don't want to. I just want to know how heavily guarded the airport is in a general sense.
So just even hanging around at the airport with no reason is could could be considered suspicious. So you're making a personality roll to see if anybody, alerts the police to your presence or the secret police.
Right. Yeah, but I think the thing that he wants to know, because there has to be somewhere that he can go to just, like, get a view of the airport.
Yeah, you can get a view of it from a decent distance.
Like, are there armed guards around the compound?
It's not like a military base, but there is there's a significant police presence around the airport, and also it's post 9/11, so every airport in the world, requires you take your shoes off and full body scan and everything, So.
Yeah.
But there are a little bit more guards around the outside of the airport than you would expect, but the whole place does seem to be fenced off. This is a world society where it's really easy for a supervillain with flight to fly up and hijack a plane, so,
Yeah. Then the next thought is trains and boats.
Only small boats go up and down the river. They're mostly private boats, wealthier people. You go as far up and down the rivers as you want. You might get checked at the border, but honestly, travel between oblasts on road or boat is only.
Oh, that's suspicious.
Yeah, it's only sparsely checked, and when it's checked, most of the time it's done half-heartedly.
Yeah.
It's just people, Train tickets are usually are pretty much sold, but you just have to have a reason for where you're going. International train tickets exist, but you'll have to buy them at you're in a pretty major city. You could get one here. They really only go to the southeast from here, or to the.
I would need to get it approved by a customs official, right?
Or to the west. If you're out of the country, yeah.
Yeah.
To get a ticket.
But I'm pretty confident on my chances of hopping the border. So I just need to get close enough. So I guess in the meantime, doing these patrols, I do have a date while I'm here.
Okay. Who are you? What are you? Why don't you tell me who it is?
Well, I don't think it goes well. I think Betty's really distracted, and I don't think he finds any of the charm that he found in Latveria of dating like a super scientist working on the Wheel of Doom. Like compared to that, just like a normal girl who's trying to settle down and get married doesn't.
So you take up one of FEMA's recommendations. He hooks you up with. Yeah, it's a very pretty young woman who works as one of the secretaries in the office.
Yeah, and it's like we just don't hit it off. We're in different worlds, right? Like, with a remarkable personality, I feel like Betty doesn't love it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we've also established Benny's pretty good looking, and you have a steady job, so she's pushing pretty hard, but Benny's just kind of like wet noodle. A little. Yeah. Unless you
do purchase.
I think unless you do something specifically to make a somewhat insulting or notably bad experience, I think it just kind of ends,
Yeah. Yep, I think that's right. So then, I'll need to do is when I'm buying my groceries, while I'm doing that, I will go to a home improvement store and buy some rope.
Okay. So, Fima will go with you on the grocery store trip, and then you're like, I gotta go to the home improvement store. And he's like, my friend, comrade, you've turned down this beautiful woman I set up for you.
Listen, my heart, it's just, it's distracted.
He gets like really emotional for a second. He says, what's your fake name? Or you're using your real name, aren't you? Now.
No, I'm not using my pen. It's oh my gosh.
Oh, Ernest Gooden. Is that right?
Yeah, Ernest. Yeah, Ernest Goodwin. Yep.
Yeah, from Latveria.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a political refugee. He says, my friend Ernest, I'm so sorry for you. I did not know you had been through such a heartbreak. I weep for you, my friend.
I left some love back in Latveria.
And he buys some vodka for you guys when you get back.
Yeah.
He says, we'll find you one yet, Ernest.
Mm-hmm. So, then I guess, basically, my strategy for escaping Russia is to basically stow away on a train and get as far east as I can before I'm noticed, and then hop the border, basically.
You're just gonna get on a train that's going east?
Towards somewhere where there's a border that I can, walk to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know it would probably be easier to go west, and then just, figure it out from there.
Probably not. Those borders are way more secured.
Yeah.
So, once you got out of the Soviet Union, be in Poland or Czechia or Slovakia or Hungary, and then
it seems like it'd be very hard.
Yeah, then you're gonna... Well, crossing into those borders is checked, but more than that, it's gonna be shot, like Western spies, if you try to leave. Let's see. Where will you end up? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So, you have two options here. You could stow away on a train.
Yeah.
And you're trying to leave immediately, right? You don't want to, work for 6 more months and then take a vacation to the Far East or something?
No, then he's seen what he needs to see.
Okay, so you can get on basically one of two trains. One that will take you into... take you to Almaty in Kazakhstan. Or you can get into one that will basically the Trans-Siberian.
Yeah.
And then you'll end up going way east.
Yeah, in Siberia.
Well, yeah, eventually you'll end up in the south. You'll either get the option to go into Beijing or down into Korea or into Vladivostok.
Yeah.
Or you could, hop out in Siberia, if you want to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's just hopping east, right? There's too much heat in the west.
I mean, you're pretty tough, so, I mean,
I could definitely escape the border.
I'm gonna take that back. there'd be a chance that you would not, if you depending on where you went, and then
Yeah.
I mean you wouldn't have been a part of these games, but you should ask Daniel or look up Eclipse on Obsidian Port. You know what? I'll send you the link.
Mm-hmm.
The players broke across jumped the Berlin Wall at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost didn't make it. They got real badly injured, and they almost did not make it back.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of their hero friends sacrificed himself to push one of the heroes away from a missile that was going to destroy them and kill probably two of them. And then got transformed.
Yeah.
Which you would know of Eclipse because he was part of he was involved in the original bombing of
Dublin. That saw like 1,000 people killed when he impaled a member of the Cork Academy. You remember the statue to Firestar? Angela Jones, I believe is her name. That we talked about in the Cork Academy. He killed her, and her powers went out of control and exploded. So.
Dang.
So if you want to become a communist super soldier murderer robot, that could be fun.
So here's the plan. Benny's gonna keep playing up the lost love of in Latveria angle, and then on the day that he escapes, right, he's gonna stow away on a train. And the way he's going to do that is he's actually going to tie himself under it. Which would be very dangerous for anybody that doesn't have a healing factor.
Yeah.
But, just in case there's somebody who tracks him while he's sleeping or something, they'll wake up, they'll enter a portal, and they'll wind up directly under a train.
Yeah. There's a good chance. Benny's not that tough, so there's a good chance we'll make it a roll to see if your arms get ripped off, or and you fall off the train in the middle of nowhere. But if that's a risk you're willing to take,
ropes, right?
Huh?
Yeah, it's all about tying that rope. Good enough. Right?
Yeah, I mean that would be doable. I mean, it would be pretty easy to stow away on a train for you, so especially underneath of it.
Yeah.
So, I want you to make an intuition roll. That's kind of like your emotional strength. If you get somebody that emotionally resists you, try to control you, you would make an intuition roll. So, as I think you're playing up this lost Latvian love angle.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. We'll come back to it.
All right. Well, the reason I'm doing that, Jake.
Yeah.
Is so that when I sneak away, they're going to find a note in my room that declares my love for my lost Latvian is too much and I've gone back to Latveria. I'm making a run for the border and I must return to her. Which would imply that I've gone west.
Yeah.
And if they never see me again, they'll assume I've gone to Latveria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, I'm actually on the train east. Mm-hmm. So, what am I rolling for? Do I know?
Make an intuition roll. This is just to see something.
Okay. It's not terrible. I need that table.
Under supplements obsidian?
Yeah, I have it. Okay.
Is it green? Probably.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. It is.
Okay. Good. Okay. basically my thought was, you're actually playing up a heartbreak that you just had, right?
Yeah.
So, you spend a while. You start to drink a little heavily with FEMA for a couple days, and
Heavily.
yeah, well, and he comes by one evening and he says, Ernest, your abilities have really made it hard on you, I think. But you just need to forget for a little bit. And he plops down in the middle of your room. He's like, don't tell anyone I took this from the equipment locker. And he flips it on, and you start, and you realize that your regeneration isn't working.
He power damage me so that I can get drunk with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he stops turning into a bear.
Sure. And it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Benny slips because he's still in spy mode. You know what I mean? And I don't think he really feels comfortable. And it's a real heartbreak, so he tells him he can say the real details.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not really paying attention. I mean, he's listening to you, but he's not really fact-checking you.
Yeah.
He's in the moment. Thankfully, though things get a little animated late into the evening, you do not damage the power dampener, so.
It's gonna be a very fun moment when he turns it off and it's just like, what? It's over?
Okay. So, there you go. Having had those final moments, I guess, with everybody, you go on your last patrol with Glafira Solikov, Dreamweaver, and Demetrius Konstantinovich, Turmoil.
Yeah.
And on that last trip, you guys are faced with a minor supervillain robbery, and you and Konstantinovich, this guy's, one of those 70 hit points, got a power that can, destroy a car kind of guys.
Yeah.
Take him down with no problem. And at that point in time, Konstantinovich says to you, Ernest, you've been doing quite good here since you started. I think they're catching some interest in you. Perhaps there's a position with unit in Moscow in your future if you keep this up. It's not for me. I would have turned it down even if offered, but Moscow it's got too many foreigners there.
Yes, I do like it here. It's tranquility, really. It suits me and my temperament, Captain. But I thank you for the compliment and the faith in my skills.
Well, you should think about it. Unlike me, you don't have an ability that'll look bad, and you wouldn't want to embarrass the party. But this could be good for you. You could get a lot. Meet some interesting people.
I will consider it. I will.
Yes, maybe even one of the ministers. Maybe the Minister of Defense. even.
Wow.
One man with abilities like you is quite rare.
Yes, it would be quite an honor.
He pats you on the shoulder. He's like, now, remember to hold these chains tight when I go into the room this time.
Right. Oh, boy. Yeah. Which is very funny because if I was a spy, this would be like the best cover right now. Like, not that I'm not you know what I mean, like. And I think Benny, having been in deep cover with Dr. Doom, is smart enough to realize that if he goes to Moscow and they do a rigorous background check on him, it's gonna be bad news.
Yeah.
Like, Dr. Doom will readily say there was never an Ernest Gooden.
Actually, there were 5 of them. 4 of them are dead, and 1 works in the ministry.
So, yeah. So I think that is, we finished the shift, right?
Okay.
And it's about catching that train to Siberia.
Okay.
Super suit on, and hopefully moving in like darkness and shadows, and then just finding that gap below the train and tying myself up, basically.
Make an agility roll.
Alright. I am going to spend karma on this, because I'm a coward and don't want to spend time in a gulag. So, this is going to be turned into a red, I think. Nice. So I need only 20 karma.
Okay. To make it a red?
Yeah.
Spend it. So yeah, you see the train passing by, you jump forward after the conductor goes into the next car, landing, grabbing hold of the edge and pulling yourself up and onto it. You then grab the rope out of your bag quickly, scanning around, no one sees you, you're certain of it, and then you flip around underneath of it, and you begin to tie yourself up.
Yeah. Just suspended like inches below a moving train. Like, for anyone who did, it's just like very terrifying.
Yeah.
But hopefully above the lip, right? Like.
Yeah. You tie yourself down and under it, and like almost instantly, a rock like embeds itself into your cheek, bounces off your teeth. You know, you spit it back out because the wound's already healed up.
Yeah. Just like gravel pelts.
Yep.
But after a while, it becomes a little like a hammock.
Yeah, you get a little used to it after a little while, and therefore you begin your trip. And you left a note saying that I am running to Latveria.
I am desperately chasing my love. Yes, I am returning to my Latverian homeland because I cannot bear to live alone. And I thank Theodore specifically for letting me understand how important love is.
FEMA?
Yeah, I thank FEMA specifically.
Oh, okay.
For showing me the importance of love and that special night where he allowed me to clear my thoughts.
Okay, let's see how long this will take.
I also definitely have enough power bars, just a jacket stuffed with power bars.
Okay, so you leave in the middle of the night, and you are kind of wide awake into the day. And what is your endurance rank?
Endurance is no problem. It's remarkable 30.
Okay, This train goes north to Kazant. Okay, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to make you do this. The train goes north up to nearly Tambov, and then turns east and goes through Samara. So, in about 6 hours, you're beginning to feel tired, and you can feel the train from the light and the sun that's up. You can tell the train is going east. And as long as you're awake, you don't have to worry about getting knocked off the train. So are you going to try to stay awake?
The whole time?
As long as you can?
I think his endurance rank is high enough that stay, not sleeping for a day or two.
What is his endurance rank?
Remarkable 30.
Okay, so that is one below the max of normal human capabilities.
Yep.
So
like a Navy SEAL could stay up.
Well, while holding onto the underneath of a train and being belted with rocks for hours at a time that would kill a normal man, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
that is.
But you are regeneration, so we'll say that assists.
Yeah.
So the trip continues. About 6 hours, you've begun to turn east. Another 6 hours passed, and you are coming into Samara. The trains in the Soviet Union are quite slow, but they seem to be on time. There seems to be no delays. This is a passenger track by itself. And then 6 more hours pass. You are in the Ufa Oblast, and you can feel there it is. You can feel the temperature dropping as you get deeper into the steppes, and mountains begin to approach in front of you. And you keep going east, and you're getting really tired as you enter the Chalabinsk Oblast, and I need you to make an endurance roll.
Yeah.
Plus, the freezing cold kind of you see your body start to get frostbite, which is a new and very painful experience that you've never had before.
Okay, so this is south. Did you give me the right oblast?
No, this is east. Chalabinsk Oblast.
Chalia or Chala?
I'll type it out for you.
Okay, yeah. Wikipedia says that that's like in the Urals.
Yeah, that's why I said you're going up the mountains.
Oh, okay. Alright.
You wanted to go east.
Yes. Got it. So this is going to be a long journey.
Yeah, it's 2 days on train to Omsk.
Alright. Well, it is a green. So it is a green, but now that we're up in the mountains, that it might be time for Betty to come back to the top of the train and get some rest, right?
Just come in frostbitten, your hands curled over, like a velociraptor opening the doors.
Oh no, it's not going to be opening the doors because.
Oh, you're going to go to the roof?
Yeah, all I need is an exhaust pipe. Right? Something that's warm enough that I don't completely die of frostbite.
Yeah, your health is bad, by the way. You're normal 150. You've lost about half your health, I'd say.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Do I get get any more consequences from the green endurance?
No, you're okay for now. You're pushing a day of your travel. You know, there's been a couple stops where you guys waited around for 30-hour, couple hours. There was one point in time where you stopped into town and you were like holding down there, shivering for like 3 hours. And you're going to try to make your way up.
So my hope was that eventually we'd get to like real rural Russia.
Yep.
Where there's less of a risk of observation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not at a checkpoint. And it sounds like right now we're going through mountain passes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, no, you're getting to the mountains in late November.
So it's going to actually probably be pretty tricky to... it seems like I really need to stow away on the train now.
Well, I mean, you could, as long as you're attached to the train, Benny won't die from this, I would say.
Yeah.
But you will probably be frozen solid. Or, like, you'll be dead, functionally dead,
I'll
until
be in a coma,
springtime, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Which, now that you're saying it like that, you know, as long as somebody cuts me down from the train, right?
Yeah, or you don't fall, or you don't hit something when you fall asleep and get knocked off.
Yeah. So, no, now it's time to risk finding somewhere on the train to hide away in.
Okay, I need you to make a endurance roll to pry your frostbitten fingers loose. By the time you made this decision, remember, you've been on the train for almost 24 hours, and it's like 10 degrees outside now.
It's chilly.
You've been for a while. You stopped getting hit by pebbles, and you were just pushing your face through the snow.
Here we go. Not a problem.
Is that a yellow?
It might be a yellow. Yeah. It is. It's a yellow by 2.
Nice.
No, it's a yellow by 5.
Nice. Okay, so you managed to pull yourself loose, kind of shiver your way out, and you were up there.
Yeah, and so now it's about, because there can't be that many people doing this train east. It's about finding an empty passenger car, or hell, I'll go hide in the bathroom. I don't give a shit. Like,
you would say that, but as you look inside the windows, the train looks to be about 75 to 80% capacity. Almost all long-distance trips are done by train.
Right. But also, that might be my advantage because I can actually blend in. Because they'll have taken everybody's ticket at this point.
Yeah, the frostbite on your nose, all your fingers and down to the middle of your palms being black, and the inability to move any of your joints. You think you're gonna have trouble.
Yeah, but now you're just describing this as stages of a plan, Jake. So first part of the plan is find the warm spot on the roof.
Okay, yeah, like over top of the cooking fire, right?
Yeah. Either the cook fires or wherever there's exhaust, because he can deal with carcinogens. Right?
Yep. Okay, yeah, that's good. So you nobody's coming out between the cars in this weather, so you don't have anything to worry about. And you see the train slowly going up and up into the Urals, so you can feel the temperature drop down and down and down. And you make your way up, and you come over, look around, you find the cook car, and you come over top of it, and you're just like holding onto the exhaust pipe. You feel it burning your hand, your fingers are getting like messed up, and but you're kind of holding it together. Without regeneration, you would just be.
You're really bad. You can't just go from freezing to burning. I think the good news about this though is that Betty actually is numb for the de-thawing.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it hurts tremendously because your body's basically sloughing off the tissue and regrowing it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But yeah, after a little while, you look basically normal, you know? And then you think you can make your way over there. You are exhausted, though. I mean, with having to regrow all of your extremities, because they would have been you would have been a quadruple amputee.
Yeah.
But you were banking on that. You were banking on your generation, so this is nothing for you.
Yeah. And so, this is my question about this car. I mean, are they sleeper car? Like, basically, it's free roam between the cars, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
There's probably a first class and a third class, but if I go in a third class coach, no people are going to assume that I just walked in from another car.
Or from the kitchen, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I will change into normal clothes also. Or at least I'll wear, like, normal Russian clothes over my super suit.
Okay. Which, by the way, your super suit did not provide a lot of heat protection either.
No.
So.
Notable. Important detail that was overlooked. And I think it's just like, you know, being another Russian. I speak Russian now.
Fluently.
Good.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait, you have the linguistics talent. So, it's not, you speak it fluently, but not, you have an accent.
Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, because I'm assuming from my experience in some of the, like, because I took a train in Romania once, and it was like, third class was open seating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say probably not on this train. If you were on a more local train, it would be open seating in general, but this is an expensive train ride to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's one of the only ways to really cross the whole country, it's fairly high demand, so you have to stick with your seat, I would say, that you're assigned.
Yep.
But all that means to you is that you need to
find an empty one.
Yeah, you need to find an empty one and then not be there when they make the next stop.
Yep. And I assume that the next stop is like many, many miles from now.
Then let's see. The next stop is you're coming up the mountains, Chelyabinsk, which is on the way down out of the Urals.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the routine, if I can swing it, is basically come in here, get a couple hours of shut-eye, you know, sleep, and then go back outside to my little crow's nest of rope.
Yeah.
Get pummeled. And then this process.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. You come in there and you find an empty seat. Nobody bothers you. The conductor comes by and looks at you and he says, "Sir, can I get you anything?"
No.
He pats you on the shoulder and he goes, "No, okay. Well, have a good day." And he keeps walking on down.
Sure.
And you're gonna doze off for a little bit. That'll reset all of your. Because next time, if you don't, the next time you have to make an endurance roll. When you go back out there, you'll have to make a yellow.
Yeah. I'm catching some shit sleep on the long thing, and I'm gonna wake up before customs, well before customs, and get back to where I need to go.
Okay. Yeah, a few people come by, they do some random, ticket checks, and you're good to go. Nobody bothers you. You get back off the train in 5 hours when you get into Chelyabinsk. and it is it's about the same temperature as it was when you came into the car, but you get the feeling that it might be warmer than it was in the mountains. And it is back to being late at night by the time you get into Chelyabinsk. So,
and I'm already under the train by the time we arrive. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna give an announcement that's like 1 hour to arrival.
Because it's been about 24 hours at this point. So,
yeah.
And then the train keeps going east. And, you go through Kurgan, stop, and then you keep going, Petropavl, Ishim, a couple small towns. You're getting out there. Once you get through Omsk, and then Novosibirsky, there'll be one other largish town, but then you might be almost... instead of hitting a bunch of small towns and a couple largest towns, you'll be like a couple villages, maybe, Yeah. Like, once you get out past Omsk, the population, and you could just tell from the map, the population density drops a lot. It's already dropped a lot from the other side of the Urals, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, 6, 12, 18, freezing cold again, the frostbite is back, you're really hating the cold, like a lot.
Really miserable.
It's really...
I'm going to take this opportunity to use the restroom. I'm going to be right back.
Okay, when you get back, make another endurance roll.
Okay.
My notes for your train journey so far are Benny/Ernest goes east as a train stowaway. Lots of frostbite. Make that endurance roll.
Alright. And I will continue this pattern of sneaking aboard the train start to feel weak, right?
Alright. So you can make it about 16-ish hours under the train, and then...
Yeah, and like, it's governed by when I feel that I have a long straightaway of nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So...
Yeah, and you ask some questions when you're on the train, like, how long till I get to Omsk? How long till I get... You know.
Yeah. Alright, here we go. I guess I'm spending karma, huh?
I mean, it's up to you. If you want to get hit by a branch, get one of your arms ripped off and the rope shredded, and then fall out under the steps covered with ice and snow and maybe freeze to death out there, then, don't.
Yeah, I'll spend karma. Okay, I didn't need it, but I'll mark off the 10.
Okay,
that is a yellow.
You're rolling exactly what you need. Because this is challenging for Benny's, human level endurance. So.
Yeah.
But not impossible, because thanks to the regeneration.
Yeah.
And the naps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you push on and you make your way back up. You rest on the train, and you're coming to Omsk. We'll do the check.
Now that we're
Okay.
Huh?
I'm just doing a roll whenever you're sleeping or on the with the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever you get up onto the top of the train.
Mm-hmm.
So you're good again. Nothing. Nobody bothers you. The conductor comes by and he's like, you've been. I feel like I saw you a while ago, but where have you been? And I don't know. What do you have to say to that?
I tell him I walk. I move around to clear my mind these long train journeys.
And he goes, I understand that. Well, rest well. You got a little bit to Omsk. And then he walks away.
Yeah. I will, because there's probably a dining car that takes money, right?
Yep.
So...
Well, I think probably, yeah, you can buy extra food with cash, but you get food as part of the trip. Normally,
okay.
If you had a ticket.
Yeah, but I don't want to flash my ticket. So I just want, like, a snack vendor buying cash.
Yeah, and there's enough people on this train that they don't recognize everybody, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get whatever you want. They serve you a well, an excellently cooked steak and, like, some potatoes.
Oh, wow. You're talking like you get, like, a restaurant meal.
Yeah.
On this train.
That's
nice. I was just hoping for a wrap sandwich.
No. I mean, you can get one of those, too, if you want.
Yeah, of course, for later.
Yeah, under the train. Shaking. No mayo, just like I wanted it. Delish. Oh, there's some gravel.
Now that we're in, like, truly rural Russia.
Yep.
I think Benny, and especially if it starts to get really cold again.
Oh, it's
Benny,
it's very cold.
yeah, Benny will spend more time up on the smokestack. As long, like, he'll keep a lookout from the top of the train, but he'll spend more time on the top of the train itself. I feel like that would trigger less frostbite, right?
Yeah. The winds are pretty extreme here, so you should be okay with your super strength.
Yeah.
But so you remember how the average temperature in north of here in Verons, where you left, was in December was like 32 or freezing?
Yeah.
Now the average is 20. So, or no, 7. Sorry, 7.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cold.
Yeah.
And you get into a couple. At one point in time, it gets down to extremely cold. Average nightly lows of negative degrees. So.
Yeah. Sure.
Plus being soaked, you know, there's frostbite everywhere.
Well, you know, if you're on near the smoke, the cook stack, right?
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
That's it. And the thing about it being 0 degrees is that there's like a really low chance of actual surveillance on the top of the train.
There's none. There's none.
So really, my like crow's nest is, or my little my nest below the train is just for the checkpoints, right?
Yeah, emergencies. Yeah. It doesn't really help though because you're still getting it's cold enough now that like you're getting like frost on your butt when you're like wrapped around it. Like it's bad. So like you realize that the frostbite can creep up your leg to your. It's gotten as high as your knee at one point.
Yeah. And,
plus, sometimes your fingers, if it gets really hot on the cook stack, your fingers burn and then like stick to the.
Mhm.
So
basically, and I think while he's doing this, Betty's doing doing a lot of thinking, right?
Yeah.
About like what his next steps of the plan are, right? Because he needs to get out of Russia.
Yeah.
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 And so next thing is basically, I think the plan that makes sense now that he's in Siberia, right?
So, by the way, I'm just letting you know, I'm I'm Google mapping your trip, right? So it took 2 days to get to Russia. It takes 2 more days to get to, almost 2 more days to get to Irkutsk, which is on Lake Baikal, which is not far from Mongolia.
Okay.
Right now you're in Omsk, which is not far from the border of Kazakhstan. Well, you're between Omsk and Novosibirsk.
I'm at Irkutsk, so I'm still kind of south, huh?
Yeah, the Trans-Siberian goes pretty close to the southern border. That's where most of
Oh, because it would want to go all the way up north.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so if I'm coming up on Irkutsk...
Well, you're far away from that. You're still near between you're probably, let's see, but by the time I make you make an endurance roll, you'll be like in the Kemerovo Oblast.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Because basically it's all deciding when I'm going to jump ship, right?
Yeah. And you really don't know your location until you see a big town.
Right. So, question about... Alright, I need some world politics context. So, Kazakhstan, I assumed, was in the Soviet bloc still.
It is, yeah. It got forcibly drugged back.
Yeah.
It's not even a Soviet bloc, it's a
Soviet Republic.
Yeah, Soviet Republic.
Yeah. But how is Mongolia doing?
You mean the People's Republic of Mongolia?
Okay. It is,
It steers a neutral ground between China and Russia, you know?
yeah.
But it's
So
communist.
not a good one, huh? Not a good candidate for dropping at.
Well, you could jump off there. It would be, in your opinion, it would be a safe place because they're not going to have the resources or ability to check you. But they are friendly to both China and the Soviet Union, so.
Right, but I'd have a shot because I'd be, like, on the steppes in, like, a country that apparently is 30% nomadic horsemen still.
Yes. It's pretty
Yeah.
empty.
Yeah.
And then the
So-
desert, but and then China's going to be Soviet Union version 2, sort of. It's going to be modern China.
Yeah, it's gonna be Red China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's getting out of Mongolia and not getting captured by China.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the alternative is to keep riding this out and try to find a fisher boat who can take me to Japan or South Korea or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this train you'll come to a stop in Vladivostok, and then the train will either
Yeah, Vladivostok.
Vladivostok, which will either actually no, I don't even know if it'll go to Vladivostok. It might go into it might take a split at Irkutsk and then either go south into China, into Beijing, or one into Korea's, or another into Vladivostok.
Yeah. It goes directly to Vladivostok.
Some of them do. Some of them go to the Koreas, and some of them go to Beijing too.
Got it. Okay.
Or at least they did. I remember looking up Trans-Siberian routes back in the day.
No, it has them. They have them there. They show the Beijing one too. And the red one. Oh yeah, Vladivostok is really. It's basically on the Sea of Japan.
Yep. When I was in Akita, there were a lot of Russian fishermen that would come to the port.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that's my best bet. Better than Mongolia, really.
Well, the only benefit of Mongolia, unlike the Sea of Japan area, is that for the most part, even if you get into like that western part of China is also empty, you know? If you go that way.
Yeah. But I think Benny, I think he hangs tight. I think.
Okay, make an endurance roll.
Alright.
Let's see if you fall asleep and loosen up your grip on the smokestack. Fall off the train.
I'm a coward. I'm spending karma. Well, actually, if I fall off on this one, then I have to go to Mongolia, right?
Well, right now you're between Novosibirsk and Kemerovo. So you're on the western border of Kemerovo Oblast. So if you fell off here, you could trek through the south and into the mountains, the Tibetan mountains, and then go into Kazakhstan or western China or Mongolia.
If I could survive the mountain passes.
Yeah. And let's see. There's. Oof, gosh, this place is empty. It's one of those where you zoom into like a 10-mile radius and you see towns like spread out every 30 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. And so...
Decent amount of it's fields, though, where you're at.
There's what?
I said a decent amount of it where... Oh, wait, I was looking at the wrong area. A decent amount of where you're at is like... Well, never mind.
Kemerov Oblast.
Yeah, most of that's not even... Most of that's just grass. It's not even... It doesn't even look like farm fields. It is... Oh, wait. No, some of it is... A lot of it is farm fields.
Yeah.
So you'll just be walking through rural farms on a windswept plain. Because I don't even...
Kind of romantic.
Yeah, it would be. You know, actually, it's not farm. It will be 2 feet of snow, but
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to...
you got a lot of time to think.
not spend karma, and I'm gonna let the dice decide.
You know you need a yellow, so...
Yeah. But there is a walking path to get to Mongolia from here.
Mongolia, Kazakhstan, or China. I mean, it's going to be a long walk, but...
Yeah. Wait, but like... What do I do once I get there?
I don't know. I mean, there's not going to be any border patrols in that area. I mean...
Yeah.
Well, they're just... No. There's places with town names and no town.
Yeah. The question is, how do I get out of Mongolia once I get there?
Well, if you're in the western part, probably just walk across the border again.
To China?
Yeah?
That's even worse.
Yeah, I'm looking at this border, and it is... Oh, that's ice in July whenever they took the picture.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Alright. I had to make a call. I think I am gonna spend karma. Because I just don't think it's a good bet to go to Mongolia. Eesh. Alright.
Travel plans changing on the fly. I said your travel plans are changing on the fly.
Yeah. That's the best part about any vacation, Jake.
Yeah, you need 50 to get yourself up to a yellow.
I do. Yeah. I'm at least gonna get closer to the Mongolian border.
Okay, you keep holding on. You're going to move back into the car and take a nap now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you keep holding on. You're deep into the next oblast. You've got a long stretch before the next town. And you sleep for a while. And then you, while you are sleeping, you have a dream. And in that dream, you see a familiar face that you've seen a few times before.
Yep.
And she looks you in the eyes and she says, "I finally found you." And you recognize the voice and the appearance as Glafira Solikov, aka Dreamweaver.
Sure.
And
Am I still in the dream?
Yeah, you see behind her like a pool, and your former captain, Demetrius Konstantinovich, appears in your dream as well, and they begin to come towards you. Make a psyche
sure.
check.
Alright.
Ooh, that's good for you, on my part. Nice.
Damn. Get out!
You're like, get out! And you wake up, and she says, and as you say that, she says, "You didn't think you could trick us. They'll be after us all." And then you're like, "Get out!" And then like it ends, and you look around.
I've been mind controlled before. I thought it's first rodeo.
Well, she doesn't mind control, remember?
Yeah.
She teleports.
But, like, it's a similar reflex of just like.
Oh yeah.
Fighting.
So you you look around like shaken, and someone's like, "Oh, sorry, did you have a nightmare?"
Yes, I did. And so, now Betty has to assume that they have a lock on the location, right?
They were on their way to. You've done her dream walk before, right?
So
Yeah.
they were making
You,
them.
I was on a train, right?
Yeah,
But she doesn't know where my location is on a map.
so you were headed east too.
What?
She also said so you were headed east.
Mm-hmm.
So you would, Benny would assume that she has a decent idea of where you're at. Maybe a rough location, maybe an exact location, you're not sure.
Yep, so now we
And-
do have to hop this train.
But she would not know how you were headed east. She would just know that you were sleeping and that you were...
East of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could be on any train.
Because, well, you might have stolen a car, you know?
Oh, she doesn't know my mode of transportation.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because...
'Cause
she just kind of pops out near a person, you know, in a safe location near them. Same as teleportation. Usually it has that built-in safeguard to not kill you.
So, that leaves one option. So, how far am I to the Mongolian border?
Okay, so you wake up and you are almost in Krasnoyarsk Krai. Oh, yeah, it's not even an oblast, but one of the Siberian places. You are about Mongolia is where you want to go.
I can't travel by train anymore, really. That's the thing, right?
400 miles to Mongolia.
Okay, alright. It's not so bad, given the pace that Benny can run. Not that borders are going to stop them, really.
Well, here's the thing. But remember, Benny has a remarkable endurance.
Yeah.
Benny can probably keep his pace up for maybe full speed for maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then he'll be walking it. So we would probably double the time, you know, that would take.
Yeah.
Or half it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Maybe a little bit better. So it would take you about 200 hours. So
Yeah.
a little less than 10 days to walk that distance.
Okay.
With presuming you would have to rest pretty frequently too.
Yeah. And then versus how many days to get to the sea from this train?
On this train, let's see. Go back to our Google Transit.
Mm-hmm.
What would we do without it? You are in Bogotol. Let's see. To your next stop in Irkutsk is 1 day, 22 hours.
Okay, that's the next city.
Yeah, that's the next.
Right.
Well, that's the next major city that we were using as a landmark. You have a decently sized city at Krasnoyarsk.
But that's not a city that can get me to where I need to go, right?
It is. Never mind. It's quite large. Where are you trying to get to? Are you going to try to fly or something?
So I need to get to somewhere that I can get out of Russia. And basically, I have a 10-day walk to the Mongolian border, or I need to get to, like, the Japanese Sea, the Strait of Japan.
So, unless you fly, it's going to take you, like... It's going to take you, like...
Another 3 days. For another 4 days total to get to Vladivostok.
Okay. And then from Vladivostok, I would need to get a...
Stowaway on a fisherman's boat, which should be doable.
Yeah. So, stay awake for 4 days.
If you stay inside the train, that would be doable.
Yeah.
But if you doze off, but unlike real world where you can kind of doze off for a second and like nod off, but as soon as that happens, you could get caught,
Yeah.
for even a second.
Yep. Understood.
So, really, what it means is after 40 hours, maybe, they're gonna start getting progressively harder.
Yep. Understood.
But if you get to Irkutsk, you'll be pretty close to the Mongolian border.
Yeah.
Like, the distance from Irkutsk to Mongolia is only 150 miles.
Right. Sure. I'm thinking of some other options as I'm doing this. Some of them are not pretty. Yeah. Because I would assume that, and I'm thinking out loud here, even if I crossed the Mongolian border, they would have no problem just teleporting to me anyways and then dragging me back across. There's no reason to think they wouldn't, right?
Yeah, I probably should mention that they would probably just make a call or are making a call right now, like, hey, Mongolia, if he crosses, this guy's on the run.
Yep.
We want him.
Yeah. Right. There wouldn't be, it would be a lot of luck to find, like, the right tribal village to let me in.
Well, I mean, you're not going to have to really worry about Mongolian police as long as you avoid the big cities.
Yeah.
That's the kind of place Mongolia is, I mean, so, one of the lowest population densities in the whole world. So, you go there, and if you go to a tribal village, you speak Mongolian, you're probably not going to have any problems. The problem, however, is that the Russians will get permission to just teleport to you, or fly over and find you, or whatever.
Yep. So, so I'm going to stay awake, and I'm going to do something that I wouldn't, I bet he's going to be a little, have I seen, these tickets are not tied to identification, right?
They have a name on them, but that's about it. No, they don't even have a name on them, really. No, they have a name on them. You have to buy. These are expensive tickets. You have to book them and buy them in advance, but they have a name on them. There's no other identification, really. And from what you can see, nobody checks that you have identification, just that you have it.
Yep. So, one of the farther down cars, because now we're playing the stay awake game, right?
Yep.
So, which means Benny now actually needs a ticket. Which means the next time somebody goes to use the men's restroom, they're going to get knocked out via telepathy, and Benny's going to take a ticket.
Okay, you're going to lose karma for this, you know that?
Yeah. That's for times, Jake.
Yeah? You making me pull up the karma chart for crimes.
Yeah. That's for times.
It works perfectly, and you walk into the men's room a little bit later and grab him, and grab the ticket from the guy's pocket, or woman's pocket.
Yeah.
And so you, let's see, you lose 110 karma.
Okay.
70 for a violent crime, you beat somebody unconscious. even if it was
Sure.
telepathically, and then theft 40. So.
All right. Yeah. But they're just gonna wake up on the toilet, being like.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine. There's no you didn't. It's not like they're in danger of dying or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And it was yeah.
But now I have a ticket, and it's warm, and I'm just not falling asleep, and I'm taking this all the way to the end.
Here, Discord thumbs up. Alright, so you're good. You make it, to, let's see,
Yeah. And I'll still do the net for the customs checkpoints, right? But I'm not going to stay long enough where it becomes a problem for me.
Just to avoid any officials seeing you, basically, is what you're saying.
Correct.
That's a smart move. Yeah. Okay, so you stay awake to Irkutsk without issue, and Krasnoyarsk. Krasnoyarsk. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Good thing we don't. Nobody's Russian. You witness. I need you to make a personality roll.
Okay.
This is your once again blending into the group and acting Russian. Not attracting attention to yourself.
Sure. That's nice. That's a green.
All right. Okay. You see a number of drones that you haven't seen before flying around in Krasnoyarsk. And they, one of them looks you up and down, scans you. Nobody else seems to really pay a mind to it. And you hear, roll intuition.
Oh, crap. They're searching the trains with drones now?
Yeah, they're searching the trains with drones. You see a fleet of them, actually. There's just scattered across the city.
Yeah.
Intuition is that's a white, right, for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just hear a bunch of chitter chatter, and then you can make a superhero. You have superhero trivia, right?
Sure do.
Roll it. But you've got a -1, so you get a +1, -1 because this is Soviet Union superhero trivia.
All right.
Is that a yellow?
Yeah.
Or is that a green?
It's a yellow. Because of my +1, it's a yellow.
Okay, but it would be knocked back down, so it's a green. But
yeah,
that's good enough. You know what? I'm gonna give it to you anyway since it's 1 point. And that was a nice roll clutch right there. They have a symbol on there of the Russian metahuman development office. The translation would be, and they it is ran by Viktor Trotsky. He's a famous Russian super scientist, Soviet super scientist. People say he is. The Russians claim he's the superior of Reed Richards, and they are in charge of many of the best and most brilliant minds of Russia have worked there, and they've developed a number of the Soviet superheroes. Those are the drones. They're occupied. The people like Crimson Dynamo, the Gremlin, the inventor of the Gremlin, Red Ghost. Probably none of these mean anything to you. Titanium Man, and then the lesser known heroes that you've heard of in your time in the army, which are technically powered.
Yeah.
Also come from there. Like tundra.
Got it. Okay. So time to bail then, right?
You get scanned by one of them, and you're like, and then it passes by,
Yeah.
and then you can choose to bail, or if you want, not to. You're about 24 hours without sleep now, 23-ish hours. A couple more hours, and you'll have to take a break.
Yeah. How close am I?
You've only done 1 day out of that 3-day leg, so
Yeah, so I'm still pretty close to Mongolia, right?
you are 160 miles from Mongolia. This is the closest you'll be to Mongolia for the rest of the time.
Okay.
But you do know that you know if you get off the train here, you're in Irkutsk, which is a city of 615,000.
Yeah, but if I jump the train before it arrives, right?
Well, you were getting down and like hiding, and then that's when you still got scanned and everything. So it's in the city. It is near the city, but not too close. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I could wait to try to get some distance on me, but they've scanned me, yeah?
Yeah. No alert seems to be going out at the moment, but who knows? Maybe they're just playing it cool to let you slip in. The train will head south around Lake Baikal from here. Or you can, because right now you are northwest of the city. The big city spread before you with the farmlands and thick forests all around.
Yeah. So I wait till we get...
Actually, you know what? There's a specific roll for this. Roll intuition. That's your danger. That's like how comfortable you are with this situation. So maybe if you make a roll, you'll be able to get a little bit more information.
Okay.
Is that a yellow?
It's by 1 again.
Nice. You're feeling very uncomfortable. There's a tingling, your hair standing on end in the back. And you feel like you hear a caw of a hawk flying up above, and you look up at it and you're like, oh, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah. It's time to jump. It's time. That there was no result. I was just talking myself into it because it's so unfortunate. Time to jump.
Yep. Boom. You leap out. You were in... let's see how much snow you were in.
I think I have a plan. I just need to get over the border, and then I have a plan.
Okay, the temperature outside... That was another day, wasn't it? So it is about -4 outside Fahrenheit. And there is not too much snow on the ground, just a little less than a foot.
Jake, I really don't want to get too gulagged. I'm going to commit another crime.
Okay.
I'm stealing winter gear off this train.
Let me ask you a question. Would Benny be okay with committing another crime?
Like, stealing a jacket? Yeah.
He was pretty straight-laced in the past.
Yeah. But he also knows what's going to happen to him if he gets caught.
Yeah, and is he more afraid of the consequences, or is it just because he's seen the statue in his courtyard?
Seen the what?
You've seen the statue in the courtyard of Firestar, you know? The whole story I told you in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, you'll go over and they're all hung up, and you go over there and take somebody's snow boots and their jacket, and you lose 15 karma for misdemeanor.
Sure. But that'll keep me going in the snow.
That'll help significantly.
Yeah.
We'll bump down the difficulty of the endurance results when you have to start making them by 1. So instead of starting at yellow,
yeah,
and we'll give you an extra 6 hours.
Yeah. So then, it's just hiking through the snow to the border, getting over.
Are you trying to move as quickly as you can, or are you trying to hide through and go through the roughest, densest terrain?
How much time do I have? How far of a distance? I have 100 miles.
150 miles.
What?
150 miles, which should take you about 45, about almost 2 days, I'd say.
Yeah.
Does that seem?
We gotta.
Yeah.
We gotta keep it low profile then.
Yeah, because you're walking through pretty thick snow.
Yeah.
In the middle of the winter, you're not making good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guess you're not carrying very much, so you could go pretty fast, but.
Yeah, but still. And I have super strength, so I'm not gonna get
Yeah, your speed is actually no better really than a really fit human. So probably 3-ish miles an hour is probably pretty accurate.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, so you're going. If you go, I would say that's a straight shot though. If you go long ways, you're going to. It's going to take longer.
That's okay. I'm okay with a straight shot. I have to do this quickly before I have to fall asleep. I can't fall asleep while I'm still in Russia.
That's true too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be ugly. I think I have a plan, but it's not a good plan. But I think I can get out of this, Jake. I just have to get across the border.
Okay.
This is it.
So you're going through the rough terrain. So this will be an opposed roll now, because when you leap off the train and start to go away, you find that a bunch of power battle-suited individuals flood the train not long after you jump off, and you with laser rifle weapons at a hand and drones all about. And then from a black portal, an inky black portal, a woman in a blue and white outfit, wielding a some sort of this slides down on a trail of ice out of this portal and lands on the top of the train.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jake. I have a thing for this that I want to pitch you.
Yeah.
Because, as I recall, we're allowed to declare one power stunt for every power, right?
Yeah.
And I have not known what to do for my power stunt for tracking.
Yeah, tracking wouldn't really have a power stunt. Most of them do, but that's like regeneration is a power stunt.
Let me tell you about the situation right now, Jay. Because I need to use my power of tracking to move undetected. I need to cover my tracks.
I would allow that as a tracking roll.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like diving so low in the snow that I can't be seen, right?
I think it's a superpower, right? So you walk in a way that doesn't leave tracks.
Yeah.
On snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your tracking ability?
It's remarkable 30.
So it's not even really. It's just barely superhuman, really. Like you're just barely.
I mean, my remarkable telepathy is pretty badass.
Yeah, that's a superpower though. Tracking. I mean, you're just a little bit better than a guy who went through the military and was trained. Except for it's more like super. So, but anyways, it'll work that way. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Spending karma for the stunt.
So wait, you don't have to spend karma on the stunt. So, just make the roll, and we will make it as you can use your tracking roll against the intuition of the drones.
All right, here we go.
What is your agility rank?
It's less. It's 20.
Okay. So
and
I'm going to say this is an.
Unless I spend karma.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a +1. I'm going to give you a +1 CS to the tracking roll.
Okay. Well, time to run. Yeah. Because I rolled that 24, so.
Oh, you rolled a 24?
Yeah.
And I rolled a 95. So you make your way out and you cross south and make a good distance away from Irkutsk before you notice anything. You make 40 miles really, and you cover that in about another 24 hours. You're exhausted. You haven't slept right during this whole period, so I need you to make an endurance roll.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
And like I said, this first one is a lower rank because of everything.
Yeah.
So it's a green.
Yeah.
And you're good. You need a green. Next time you have to make one, it'll be a yellow.
Yeah.
You are on the shores of Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the whole world. Its crystal blue waters wash the shore next to you. There are ice that no, I'm lying. There's no crystal blue waters. There's an endless sea of ice and strong winds that sweep over you that almost floor you to the ground despite your remarkable strength. You are coming to a road labeled A333 when from up above you see a drone and it's but you catch it after it has already you catch it from the reflection of the scan beam blanking off the snow below you. And as you look up, the drone's there. It zips down quickly, and from it projects an older man. He looks to be in his 60s, mid to late 60s. He looks at you and he says, "So you're Ernest Gooden. I'm Victor Trotsky, and I am come to understand that you claim to have been from Latveria. But yet we have reports from our agents in Hungary that a man fitting your description fled across the borders. So, Ernest, what is your real name?"
Look, I'm just gonna stick with Ernest if that's all right with you.
He laughs.
Latveria was nice for a while.
Yeah, he laughs doubly at that one. It's a hearty old man chuckle.
But look, if it's between you and me, and I can tell you the truth, I really was just sort of here as a tourist. So,
well, I'm sorry to say, but as a person who has illegally entered our borders, and as an individual of highly suspicious origin and a shield-forged passport, Benjamin, there's a lot of...
Wait, how do they know the Benjamin? They definitely don't know my real name. They know my fake name is Latveria.
Shield had your real name, right?
No, it is. Shield has my real name.
Yeah. They say Benjamin.
But my passport.
They say Benjamin.
Oh, on the fake passport?
No.
Or they hacked Shield.
Maybe. Well, yeah, that's your thought immediately. Is that, oh god, he knows. It's counter-espionage 101. I mean, if they can't have us planting Shield, I mean, what are they doing wrong?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think Penny keeps a poker face and said, so listen, if you're asking that question, that means you don't know why I'm here.
Yes, that is exactly why we'll be having a long talk. And I hear you have quite interesting abilities. We could make good use of them to spread the revolution to the rest of the world.
That is the thing about about it here. Everybody's just a little too uptight.
Well, you may think that now, but if you come willingly, I'll make sure the operations are administered with an anesthetic.
Doesn't work on me, Chief. I'm afraid that's a false one. And Jake, I am walking onto the ice.
Okay. It's thick. I mean, you're in December, so...
But hey, this borders Mongolia, right?
Nope. You are about...
It's Russia.
You travel 40 miles. You're about 100 miles away from Mongolia still.
Yeah, but the lake.
Nope, the lake goes back north.
Okay. But
You...
the current goes...
Here, I'll...
south, right?
I'll send you a picture. And you see all the way in the bottom corner where it says layers? See the solid white line right there? That's Mongolia.
The solid light line.
Under layers. Yeah.
Under layers. Okay, got it. So, alright, so he's caught me about 100 miles, huh?
Yep. That's what a white and a red gets you.
Sure. And so they're closing in on my position.
Well, he seems to be content to chat with you for some reason. You don't see anything else coming this way, but I mean, they can fly, so it won't be long.
Yeah. So, what else do I have in my, what else do I have up my sleeve, huh? I need 100 miles, Jake. I need 100 miles. I have one thing I can try as I'm talking about this. So that's it. At the end of the day, you're going to experiment on me, create powers?
Yes, your biological material will be able to give us a number of potentially superhuman soldiers capable of regenerating from any wound. And if you'd been a Soviet citizen, this sort of experimentation would have been frowned upon, especially by our Director of Defense. But with things being as they are...
about this? For the longest time, that sort of experimentation was exactly what I was aiming for. Wish you could have gotten to me 5 years ago. I would have stepped in line and let you do this for free.
It's a shame, if I had only known. I would have come and offered you.
Yes. But, as it is, I hope you don't mind. I'm not going down without a fight. I'm going to jump on the drone, and while in Latveria, I picked up the robotics feed.
Really?
I'm going to hijack this.
Your robotics talent?
Yeah, I have the robotics talent, and I'm going to hack this and fly out of here.
Okay, you jump on top of the drone, you grab it. It's got the shield helicarrier sort of propeller, so you're not even like, it's not like propeller driven. So you're like grabbing hold of it, and he's like, get off of there! And he's like, and then the drone like guns fold out from underneath of it, but they can't hit you, and then it electrifies, and you're gonna just take it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna hack this drone.
35 points of damage, and then roll a reason roll. With the robotics bonus.
I mean, I'm spending all my karma, so I'm spending all my karma.
Okay, well, don't spend the karma on this one yet, because this one's just to find the hatch and get access to it, and then we're gonna make a robotics roll to hotwire it, basically.
Sure. But Benny's kind of dumb, so he's probably gonna need to do it on both of them.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna spend it all down because I'm worried that this will be the end otherwise. So, there's the first roll.
Oh!
It's going up. It's just the hatch, so...
Okay, well, you can just wait and re-roll it, right?
Oh, I can take another points of damage?
Yep.
Okay.
The one that you only get one or done is going to be the hot wire, because if you fail that, you destroy the drone.
Okay, that's helpful to know.
Okay? Well,
right,
I mean, most people wouldn't be okay with just being electrocuted over and over, especially when they're in danger of getting shot at later by robots.
Alright, I'm gonna do it again, but I am gonna spend karma on this this time.
Okay.
So, that's gonna put me at 60 as it zaps me again.
Yep.
Alright. And then I'm gonna roll. Right?
Yep.
Alright. So I mark off 10 karma.
Okay.
There we go.
You find it. It's bolted in. These things are very sturdily made. And you grab hold of it. You're trying to pull it loose. And I need you to make a strength roll.
Okay.
As you pull on some sort of steel and titanium alloy.
Alright. I take one more electrocution, so I'm just gonna roll it. That's a green.
Okay. It doesn't even budge. He laughs at you and he says, well, I suppose we could augment you with super strength. You know, after we collect the biological samples, I think you will make an admirable warrior, showing quite a tenacious ability. And most people, even with abilities like regenerative abilities like you, are not so welcoming to being afflicted with pain.
That's pretty true. They also mentioned how lucky I am. I'm gonna roll again, and I'm gonna push this onto a red.
Yeah, he stopped panicking as he's watched you.
Oh my god, so cold red.
Okay. You rip it off. It was gonna take a red, by the way. So, and as you rip it off, he's like, and he looks over at something off to the side, and he's like, okay. It won't matter, they'll be here soon enough anyways. I'll have everything I desire.
Well, if you like, I'll leave an arm for you on the way out.
So you make a robotics roll.
Alright, all the cars in the
So
world.
as you see it, you realize that it is built into such a way that there is a manual control that you can override and bypass certain systems mechanically. Yeah. It's not all software.
Computers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all software. And here we go. Spending all the karma necessary. It's not that much. That's 20 karma only.
Oh, you're making it a red?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say with a yellow against a guy who has hyperinvention of 40 and
No.
is Russian Reed Richards.
Yeah. But like, I think one of the things that I'm very happy about is that it's I don't need it to be like complicated because I'm not trying to hijack all of it.
Yeah.
I just need.
Well, you wanna. I assume you also want to disable the electrocution.
Yes. Yeah, I need to cut power. Yeah.
So you cut the defenses and override it to the manual controls. And while you're doing this, you have a flashback to a lesson given to you by.
It wasn't Olga, right? It was.
What was her name?
We keep forgetting this, and it's critical.
Yeah, I know.
We go to the write-ups. Is it, it's Olga, right?
I don't have a note about her name. I don't like Olga.
No, it was something else.
I don't think I would have given her such an ugly sounding name.
Multidimensional madness.
It was the roommate. Is there a roommate note in there? It's a silent doom cometh.
Yeah. Yeah. Betty falls in love, but you don't say. We don't say the name with who he falls in love with.
Yeah. And I don't have a note from that in this book, so...
Okay, hang on. Elena, no, it was,
Elena was the first one.
yeah, Christina, Daniela, we can just pick something. I know I have it written down, but it's in my other notebook.
Olga is a Hungarian name. I don't really think that was it, though.
No, it wasn't.
There was an Olga, though,
There was.
for something in that session. Marvel Villains, Hyboria, Classified. I don't know where that folder is, either. Alright, picking a new Hungarian name.
Okay.
We'll go with an O sounding name.
Mm-hmm. Nora.
Olivia or Ursula? Ursula?
Oh yeah, Ursula. That's I think it was, because it's Ursula maybe.
Well, I don't think it was, but
Alright, Ursula. Yeah,
let's go with it.
Yeah.
Ursula.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that into the session notes for that one.
Yeah.
Alright, there it is. It's in there. Silent Doom Cumulus.
Yeah.
Ursula. So you remember a lesson given to you by Ursula, who's teaching you about Soviet robotics. You know, they're famed for some of their robots. One of the developers of Synthezoids, but in a different style than the American one.
Exactly what she said. She's like, these Soviets, it's always in the hardware of their manufacture. You have the most brilliant minds in the world, but none of the materials, because unlike Doom, they do not demand perfection. So you can always find a weakness in just pulling out the right wires. They build too much. That's why. You see? So...
And yeah, you remember that. You pull out the white wires and the electrical systems go down. You hotwire a couple other things and the controls work. And you start to fly away. And you've disabled the figure of Viktor Trotsky. And then you zip south. The thing flies about 100 miles per hour.
Okay.
And you make it up into the mountains again. when you look back, as you hear the sounds of jet engines behind you. And here's where you are.
Yeah, how much closer did I get?
You let's see, you made it another 45 miles.
Okay.
And behind you, you see a small fleet of drones closing in on you.
Yep. Right. And they're gonna close in too close, right? I'm just not gonna make it.
They seem to have cut off some distance by trying to, angle their path to cut you off, but they were flying at about the same speed as you. They maybe are a couple miles per hour faster, so you don't know when they'll catch you, but they're gaining very slowly. Could be another 30 miles, 50 miles before they catch you.
Yeah, and there's above me, there's a jet, right?
Though that's the sound of their engines.
Okay, cool. So it's just a race. It's just a foot race. It's just a race. Yeah, okay. We're good for it.
Alright. And then you keep heading basically due south. And you come into, I'll send another picture here. You make it down here. And that's about another 30 miles when the drones, which are now clearly visible, mostly the weight of you are slowing down your drone, that lets them gain on you. But you see figures, the Soviet soldiers in their battle armor, and then behind them, a woman in a blue suit on some sort of sky cycle.
Yep.
They are passing the drones, and they should catch you within 10-15 miles.
Yeah. Which is going to put me, right on the border. But unfortunately, Mongolia's friendly, so they're probably just going to chase me over it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
They gain on you as you kind of go low, and then you drop low and try to navigate through the trees to keep them off of you. As some laser fire begins to fire on you. You're about 15 miles from the border, and you have just passed over a valley and over the little town of Dutulur.
Okay. All right. Yep. Keep on going.
Make an agility roll.
Sure. I'm going to assume my regeneration's fully ticked up at this point.
Yep, you're back at full health.
Okay.
There's Dutulur.
Sure.
And you are 10 miles away from the border.
Yep. And we're just flooring this thing as far as it can go.
Yep. You keep going up and down the hillsides, dodging between the things, and then you crash right into the side of a tree. And its laser fire cracks into one of them, and the tree falls in front of you. The drone explodes Hollywood movie style.
And now it's just running through the tree line, right? It's another tracking roll to see if I can't, shake them, right?
They're not tracking you. They have their eyes on you, so make an agility roll to hide from them.
Because I can't just sprint, right? There's no way I clear it on a sprint if I just keep running.
You run at 30 miles per hour, so the drones are 70 miles per hour faster than you, and the people in the suits are about 150, so they'll catch you in about 2 or 3 minutes, a minute or two. So maybe by the time you've covered another mile. They were in firing range, so.
Yep. Alright. So, yeah, it's an agility roll, right?
Yeah, you gotta lose them in the forest, or...
I gotta lose them in the forest, and I gotta recall on everything good that I've ever done, Jake, that Benny's ever done. He has 250 karma left total for the rest or the rest of his life.
None of that's in the
I'm
bank?
spending it on this roll.
You haven't banked any of that?
I've spent stuff.
Nice.
I've spent stuff as it comes in, mostly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's about
So
what
I
I
started
was.
the session with just under 500. And I thought I was going to be saving it for languages and level ups, but here we are. Okay, I'm going to spend 70 karma and push it up to a red.
Okay, you dive into the woods, navigating it, and you find a spot not far from the city of the city of Zakhaminsk. It's a city of about 12,000 people, right on the border of Mongolia, and about 5 miles out. You can see Mongolia from the ridgetop you're standing on. There seems to be some sort of like pool of mind waste nearby, and the city is a bunch of very small houses spread out in a haphazard pattern.
You said there's a pool of mind waste?
Yep. You're in the woods though, nearby, and they are zipping around up above you.
Sure.
It looks like a big open pit mined area. Or
are you looking on the Google map?
Yep. Or actually, it might be some sort of. No, I think that's a mine. Yeah, that's a mine. Yeah, they've just stripped the whole side of the hill away. An open pit mine. It's flat and barren in the area.
Yeah.
You've never dove into that, but it looks very, very toxic.
Yeah. But it might be what has to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, has Benny ever had like some? Yeah, he's been poisoned by uranium before, so.
Yeah. It would be
something that his body can't expel necessarily or process to expel. You know what I mean? An idosis. Looks like a heavy metal mine of sorts.
Yeah. And I think, but it doesn't lead anywhere, right?
Nope, it's just a pond, storage pond for waste.
Yeah. But you know what?
There you go.
All right.
There's the distance too.
5 miles.
Yeah, the superhero known as Tundra is above. And she is known to be a Russian model who became a superhero. She had a her mutant ability, her altered human ability was to be highly resistant to cold.
Yeah.
And they equipped her with a technology that gave her cold generation abilities.
Yep. Well, listen, Jake. They're not going to find me. So here's what's going to happen.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm anticipating it.
can't sleep, and I can't cross the border, right?
Yeah, you're exhausted, by the way. You're gonna have to make another sleep roll in a while, but you're good for now.
I know. So what I need to do is I'm gonna have to do a telepathy stunt here, because I need to find somebody with a decent heart.
Who will hide you?
No, not hide me, Jake, because they'll just find me. My understanding is that there are Mongolian nomads, right?
Yes.
Probably some just over the border, even.
Let's check.
Or within range of my telepathy.
I would say, yeah, it looks like it's pretty much, that's pretty foresty. There we go, that's more what I would expect. I'll make it a roll if there's nomads in this area. To be honest, it's very mountainous and forest, so...
Yeah, but it's okay, I just need one. I just need, like, one hunter.
What's your range on your distance?
It's a remarkable 30.
What's that range? Do you know?
No, I don't.
This may be important because, well, you need somebody close, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you might be able to find a hunter if that's okay, instead of a nomad, but... Does it matter?
No, I can find a hunter. It's fine.
Okay.
I just need to take a chance here. Somebody who's not a part of society in that way.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. Here it is. Remarkable. This one says 10 areas, which is very short. Let's see what the Ultimate Power book says. Anyways, I think you've definitely got more than 5 miles. So I think you've got like 100 miles.
Yeah. Okay. So I cast my mind out. I look for a consciousness. Look for any consciousness.
Okay, so actually your range is about 12 miles with Remarkable.
Sure.
I didn't know that. I thought it was further.
Yeah.
No, wait. It's lower than that. It's 6 miles because it's range D.
Mm-hmm.
So, still, more than enough to reach across the border.
Yeah. So I reach across, I search for a mind to link with, and...
But you have specific requirements that you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that is not a part of society, who basically lives alone and is out in the woods. So you're...
Beggars can't be choosers, but I'm just looking for a good heart.
Okay. This is gonna be a difficult mind. This is pushing the limits of your telepathy.
Yeah.
Because you're not that good at it. So, make a roll.
Yep. I'm gonna spend all karma on this again because I'm just running low. I might as well spend it all.
You're pushing the limits of your telepathy in terms of what you're capable of doing, and you're pushing the limits of distance. So.
Yep, that's another 40.
Okay, you get the telepath nosebleed, and it doesn't heal because whatever the telepath power is you strain yourself to the limit, and you find somebody, a hunter who's like, you read his mind and he's coming back thinking, oh man, this rabbit stew is going to be delicious. Seems like a good guy.
And I'd say, I'm gonna Aragon him. I'm gonna say, like, he's gonna say, important part. He's gonna hear 14 days, and I'm going to have picture an image of the slurry pond, and I say, dredge it, find me.
You realize what you're asking of a random hunter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
a lot of faith in
not even a Russian one, right? You know, somebody who has to cross the border.
Yeah, but I mean, they has to cross the border on where there's no border patrol, right? He has to walk 5 miles to a slurry pond.
A slurry pond that isn't that isn't a 12 right next to a 12,000 person city.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, just so we're on the same page.
I mean, should I switch to doing a Russian?
I'm on.
Will just report me?
I mean, they're gonna. Yeah, I mean, he'll have to report. He would report you that you're a person, I guess, and not think anything of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like they're revolutionaries. And I tell him that I will owe him a great debt to him and his family.
Okay.
And I show him a picture of the slurry pond as I go through. And so he knows exactly where to look for me. And then it's Terminator 2. I need to go somewhere where they can't find me, where I'm not going to dream, and where even the drones can't read me.
Yeah.
And
So you're gonna kill yourself in a slurry pond.
Yeah. Bottom of a radioactive pool. I don't think that anybody would think that he'd be crazy enough to do this.
Yeah. You jump into it and.
I weigh myself down.
Yeah, and you drowned yourself, and and poison yourself with give yourself lithium poisoning.
Yeah, I try to make sure it's the lithium poisoning that kills me. I hold my breath. Right? Because the water lungs might be a problem, but the lithium will just heal.
No.
When they take me out of it. Like the uranium bullet.
They remember you had to
Recover from death.
No, you had to decompose enough, and then they levitated the ground out from under you for the bullet to slide loose.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to pull me out of the slurry and leave me, and
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you jump in there and put yourself down.
But I'll tell you what, Jake, I'm not gonna get turned into a Soviet death machine.
That's true. No Soviet death machines here. And honestly, Benny drowns first. Because he just can't hold his breath that long. And then the lithium keeps him down.
Yeah, right.
As dying from that level of toxicity would probably still take you 24 hours.
Yeah.
But thankfully you're drowned before that.
Yeah, and no scanners are gonna get through the slurry.
Yep. So they, we flash forward for the next 2 weeks, and there is Soviet patrols in the area that cross over to Mongolia.
Yeah. Yeah, I might even say, I probably should have said 30 days, huh?
And that is the first 3 or 4 days, and then you for all intents and purposes appear to be a SHIELD spy who slipped into the country and became a police officer. And then outran super soldiers and super scientists across Russia, somehow didn't sleep for days, hijacked one of their super drones, and took it under control, and then ran out into the mountains and somehow disappeared for 4 days.
And vanished.
And then and now you've been gone. You vanished. So the question is, it's like you're right there at like this is maybe important enough for them to call in somebody important instead of Tundra. You know.
I know. But where would they look, right?
Well, they would look in this area. I mean, if they, right? So the question is, who does it?
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, you know, I feel like the radioactivity, my bet is the radioactivity is going to mess with all the vision.
Yeah, like nobody, no computers are going to pick you up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they will call in somebody important. So my question is, first, do they call in the Red Sun, who's the Minister of Defense?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure this is important enough for him, but at the same time, I don't think it would be. You were a minor, but you know, he could also come in and deal with it, presumably, within a few minutes, with his, you know, super speed.
Mm-hmm.
Or do they call in a member of the Supreme Soviets?
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, right? Wouldn't you think they would call in somebody at this point?
Yeah, but why would that person find me? Because they would definitely assume that I ran across the border and I'm hiding in the woods, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've obviously been checking Mongolia, right? So the question is, would they find you? That's what I'm trying to figure out, you know? Who would they send? Because I have their stats right here. I'm flipping through them.
Yeah.
Like, and do they have the ability to actually find you?
Well, there is another twist to this, which is the cop will have noticed that she never is able to find me in her dreams, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that would tell them that I somehow got cloaked, right?
Yeah, that you somehow stopped sleeping.
Or that there's like somebody shielding me, right?
Yeah, or you're out of range.
Yeah. Right? So which would indicate escape, right?
Well, I mean, but you have superpowers. Everybody knows it. Everybody also knows that you were hiding your identity, so it would not be unusual for you to be like somehow put up a mental block, maybe, and then change your face, you know what I mean? And so they would probably telepath the area, which would get nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they would send somebody in. So if it's, I don't think the Red Sun would go. I just don't think it would be that important. You know, because you were a cop in a not important area.
Yeah.
So.
And Shield would deny me.
Yeah. So that would mean his X-ray vision, for example, and his super speed and his ability to just see through everything, right, would not be in play.
Yes.
Which is good for you.
Yeah, because that would have clocked me probably.
Yeah, he would just be able to look right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Germany, France, continent. Is this not? Are they superheroes? Must be. So I'm thinking they send in either a member of the Supreme Soviets, and we'll see if anybody has an ability that's useful for catching somebody.
Or does the doctor do it himself?
The doctor, I mean, he doesn't really do much. I mean, if you saw his stats, he doesn't go out of the lab very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Red Sun, Perun, nothing important. He's just Thor.
Okay. There'd only be... it turns out, looking through who they've got and what they can do, there's really nobody with particularly good sense skills that would be relevant here. There would only be one person, and they would send her, and that would be Phantasma, who is a sorceress. And then, and you're basically dead, so I think that, since you're basically dead, I think that actually helps you. If I remember the spell right. Pulling out all the stops here.
Just one guy, one Benny Best against the super spy against the Soviet state.
Game. Okay. So, Benny, laying there at the bottom of this slurry pond, looking a strange collar and a little bloated from being dead. Up above, you see a woman. The camera pans up and sees a woman is standing on top of one of the buildings of the nearby city. She casts a spell of post-cognition, allowing her to see 3 months past times 1 for every 10 points she has, basically. So it's 3 months back for good. As a master magician, she has all spells at excellent rank, and she casts them.
Yeah. Okay.
And the spell goes off, but she kind of stumbles backwards and grasps her head, and she says, "There's something strange." She turns to the side, and floating there next to her is a figure, a white, pale-faced figure with a red and black costume. Oh, I like the new costume they gave him.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at her and says in a robotic tone, "Phantasma, what has happened?" And she says, "There seems to be a powerful enchantment upon this area. Some sort of demon or other figure has claimed this land for its own purposes, and is interfering with my magics. And as such, she is unable to detect our hero, Benny Best. And she says, we have to assemble the rest of the Supreme Soviets and return." And Vostok looks at her and nods, and he says, "As you say." And they fly off. Her underneath her own flight power, and him under his own. And a few days later, the hunter has snuck across the border and walked through the woods. And you had given him a pretty exact location of where your body was.
Yeah.
and he's got like one of those fishing line poles, and he starts to fish for you, and you know what? You make a roll. Let's see if he fishes you out.
No karma, it's just a roll.
Yeah, let's make it on. Don't tell me yet.
Okay, it's a 17.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like incredible. I was thinking. So he struggles for a while, and do you want to? You know what? No. Let's just give you this. I think let's just give it to you. This makes I don't want you to rot in the bottom. I don't want you to rot in the. I would honestly make you rot in the bottom of the pond if you were not a potentially part of a group for like a month or two. You know, until your body like washed away. You would probably be dead then, permanently dead. But anyways, I don't want to do that. So he hooks you and.
Spend the rest of my karma to make it work if it makes you feel better.
No. I'm not. I shouldn't have even made that one a roll. He hooks you and pulls you out of the pond. If there was another player here, that would make more sense too. You know, force them to spend their karma or leave you for the dead.
Yeah.
And he drags you out of the pond, but you look like a bloated dead corpse. And he looks at him and he says, shakes his head, and he drags you up there and kind of digs a hole and pushes you into it.
Sure.
Shovels the dirt back on top.
Yeah. And let me know at what point I become conscious.
Well, you don't. Honestly, you feel your whole, for the first time, that inky blackness of what has almost been death, where you've died really, but your body's regenerated from what was left. It starts to fade, and instead of being like a dreamless slumber, it almost opens up to like a vastness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see a purple cloaked figure. One perfectly formed, beautiful hand, pale, very, very pale, reaches out and gestures to you. And it tempts you dramatically so in a way that it feels comforting.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you want to do?
It's a figure in a purple robe?
Yep, a purple robe. You can't see the face. There's a very feminine and a perfectly shaped jaw, barely visible. A very pale skin, but not like deathly pale.
Listen, Jake, you forget that Benny best fought Thanos. He turns away. he forces himself away.
Benny doesn't know.
I know, but he still forces himself away.
Make a psyche roll
he's
then.
had enough false comforts.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, he knows that he should be. It's like he's felt enough pain that this absence of pain is what tells him that this isn't real. Right?
Yeah. Benny is 100% certain this is real.
Yeah.
He, like, you know, you may force yourself away from it because it feels wrong. There's an unnatural, there's a blankness and an emptiness to it, but he is probably he's as certain of this as he was of his own existence before he started being a superhero. You know what I mean? Like, this is
okay.
But
then I guess he'll ask. He'll say,
There is there's no a word said, but there is a smile, and the hand is extended out to you. And then you hear a whisper, even though you don't see it happen. And what you hear is, "Come, child. You have struggled hard, and it can be over."
I'm sorry. I'm just getting started.
Okay, make a psyche roll.
Okay. Okay. I will spend the last of my karma because Benny Best would do that.
So you pick yourself up and you're like, "Sorry, I'm just getting started," and you say that, but your feet move towards this figure, and you reach out for a second, and then you catch yourself just as your hand's about to touch hers, and you hesitate. You look at her, and there is a there's a comfortability of this. It's like a figure that you know you belong with, but for some reason haven't ever seen before. And then but you stop yourself and you pull your hand back.
Yeah. Hey. I've been on kind of a journey, but before I get back to it, you got any words of advice?
And she smiles at you, and then she raises up her head, and the cloak falls back, and the black-haired, beautiful woman is visible in front of you. And she says to you, "Death comes for all in time."
No.
And then you wake up.
Yeah.
But this time it's different than you've ever seen before, as when you wake up, you're sitting there on the side of the side of the pond, and there is no regeneration happening. You just seem to be whole for some reason. The lithium that should have expelled from your body is nowhere to be seen, and you are aware that and you're aware that you were buried next to here just moments ago. You even you look down and you see the trail of the hunter that buried you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the advice. I say to like the thin air. And I get up and I start following the hunter.
Okay. Yeah. You track him fairly easily if you wanted to follow him. You cross the border into Mongolia.
I do.
Here we are. I'm showing a picture from Infinity Gauntlet. There she is.
Yeah. Sure.
And the only thing that you are certain of from that moment was that that you are certain of your own mortality. The thoughts of immortality or the thoughts of invulnerability of sorts that you were having are gone. And you have, like, for maybe the first time in a really long time, maybe since the very first time that you were nearly killed, you have kind of like a nervous shake. Your palms are, your head is sweaty, and you're short of breath. Just in like a real person, a normal person would have to almost dying.
Yeah, I have to know. I prick my finger. Does it sew up?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that rules out being an Eternal as a retirement package.
Well, the Eternals are mortal too.
Yeah, they're not, but they're not mortal. They can be killed, but they don't die of age.
I think they die after like 1,000,000 years or something, right? Ridiculous.
Okay, sure.
Because they definitely get old looking. Yeah. Extremely long-lived.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, I follow the hunter.
Yep. You do. You catch up to him around the Mongolian border. And he screams and passes out when he sees you. And he shouts out something you don't understand. You're pretty sure, if you were to guess from just your linguistic skill, he was probably being like a ghost.
Well, I mean, it's gonna get worse because but I guess I'll take him because I have tracking, and if I can, I'll carry him to his cabin.
Yeah, easily enough.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really particularly hiding his tracks. He probably didn't feel the need to. And you go back.
Yeah.
While you're in his cabin, you turn into Soviet radio, and they are what he was listening to, and they're like a Benjamin Bart. No, they don't even say that. They don't use your real name. An Ernest Gooden. If you see an Ernest Gooden, there's thoughts to believe he is an American spy.
A Western agent.
Yeah. Report any man who meets the following description. They give a pretty accurate description of you.
Luckily, I have my superhero mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a few hours later, the hunter wakes up and he's like, oh, and he speaks in Mongolian to you.
It's okay. I respond telepathically. I say, I never got a chance to thank you, but I owe you a great debt.
And he says in your mind, who are you? What are you? Don't. I haven't done anything.
And I say, no, you did a great thing. You saved my life.
And he says, I'm certain you were dead.
I'm certain. I'm certain that I was too. So I give you the choice. If what you wish is to never see me again, then that is what it shall be. But if there is something that I can aid you with, speak it. I will make it so.
He says, are you a genie?
Not in this life.
He says, then it wasn't difficult for me. Don't have me dig you up again. Or fish you out. Please.
Benny is actually flustered, and he says, "I'll pay it forward. I'll make it worth it." Thank you, Hunter.
He says, "You're the nicest ghost I could have wished to run into." And he nods to you.
Yes, I would have hated to have to have had haunted the town for all eternity.
He gets a
Thank
little
you for
white.
putting me to rest.
His face gets a little white at that.
Think of all the hauntings that you saved.
I think the little jokes
Goodbye.
bring the collar back to Benny's face, and the hunter looks a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Can you lead me south?
He says, if you head southeast from here, you will come to a river valley. Follow that river valley southeast, and then cross the mountain, going south and keeping the sun to your left. And then on the other side of the mountain, you'll find another river valley. It will lead you down to Hoosiert, where there are some farmlands. There is a few people that live there, and many times some tribesmen pass through that area. From there, you can keep going south quite easily as the land opens up, and you'll come to a large river.
I see. And do you know of any wise men or women?
He shrugs and he says, I believe there are teachers in Erdenet. I was there once when I was young. But I think you're too old to go to any schools. Maybe you're trying to get into a university.
No. My spirit is tasked with missions on this earth. I am trying to understand what is needed.
Well, good luck.
Good luck. Your name. I never did get it.
He looks at you like, what's going on? Are you going to curse me, ghost? Are you a ghost? I don't understand.
You're right. You're right. That's the you do not know.
He looks at you, he's
Goodbye,
like,
Hunter.
he says, well, you seem friendly enough, I suppose. My name is Togoldor.
Thank you, Togoldor. And I take my leave. Right? Like,
Yeah. You start to make your way out, and you make your way up the mountain. You find that you tire very easily compared to what you're used to. You're hungry. You're hungry.
I thought about staying at the hunter's cabin, but it's probably too risky.
Yeah, it would be. Benny would think that. He needs to get out of here. But you tire quickly, you get hungry easily, and you feel like you're starving. And then you stumble at the top of the hill. It's not really a mountain, it's just a hill, a large hill. And you tumble at it and fall down and fall off of the thing, and you break your arm. And it doesn't heal. As you like kind of hold it in place, you kind of hold it and you'll keep walking, and by the end of the day, that wound is healed.
Got it.
But something is going wrong with your body.
Yeah. Yeah, pushed it all too hard.
But
Makes sense.
you wander through the woods. It takes a while. You're just kind of going off of some rivers. Thankfully you were right on the one that you needed to. So movement's not too terribly slow. But when you get to the top of the hill and you have to find another stream to follow, it gets difficult.
Yeah.
And you get turned around a couple times and manage to make your way to a valley. Where you find that you've gotten lost.
Mm-hmm.
And make your way, following the river east, you've come across a road. After about 3 days, and you collapse on the road of starvation. We're gonna say 3 or 4 days, and you collapse on the road, just by the road, just like exhausted and starving.
Yeah.
So, you fall asleep and you have a dream, but nothing is of Ursula.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's where we leave it, right?
Yeah, we'll leave it there, and you get, what we see is we pan out, and Benny gets picked up, put in the back of a pickup truck by some Mongolian folks, and driven to the nearest town.
Yeah. Yeah. And, or just like, yeah.
Yeah, they actually take you south because they're trying to take you to a bigger city where you can actually get
medical
attention. And the last thing we see is them driving south into Erdenet, the town that you were told about, which was, in fact, since you had no measurement distances, this was in fact 75 miles away. Cross country.
Yeah. And, damn, I was hoping to get picked up by some nomads.
No, I think it's even more appropriate that you're like on the hunt for nomads and you get picked up by some people in the truck.
Very good. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good job. I did not. A couple times there, I thought like when that last intuition roll, I thought you were gonna pass out on the train way before this, and then I thought, all those rolls that I were making to see was not actually to check your ticket. It was to see if your previous partner caught you.
Yeah. I was onto that.
Yeah. So I figured you were onto it, especially after it happened. So, and then so I really thought you'd get caught way earlier and have to make escape into Kazakhstan or something, where you would have fallen in with some of the resistance groups that were still there,
Yeah.
because they were part of the original breakaways in this world, right? And they got forcibly brought back in. And then after that, when you got scanned, for a second there I thought you were going to get in a fight in the city center with all of the guards and everybody, and I was like, who knows how that's going to go. And then I thought you would
have brought the Supreme Soviets in and they would have skunked you.
No, I wouldn't have. You would have fought a couple power armored guys, some drones, and that Tundra woman.
Yeah.
It would have been a tough fight, but maybe winnable for you.
Yeah.
And then you escape from that without even getting in the fight, and then doing that, and when I criticaled that roll to catch you, and you whited your roll to hide, I was like, oh god, you got caught early. I thought you might make it all the way out at that point. I was like, oh, he's gonna dodge a couple of these. If he makes it past this one roll with no problems, because he's had good luck so far, he will probably cross the border without any problems, and will be in Mongolia, where he'll
run into some tribal people or somebody out in the wilderness, like hunting or something, right?
Yeah.
But then you got caught, so that was interesting. And then that was a escape plan, you know. I thought you might still try to outrun them or something, like hide a little bit and then try to run.
Yeah.
And then you might have been in another. And then if you got caught again, you would have gotten a fight, you know.
Yeah.
With the same group as before, but you stuffed yourself in a radio, you poisoned yourself, right? Which basically continuous damage, death, and then continuous damage that you cannot extract yourself from will, I think, and once your body is gone, Benny will die.
Yeah. If it had been until my body was dissolved, then I would have been ruined.
Yeah.
Because if all the organic tissue got wasted away, then there would have been nothing.
Yeah. So, like, continuous damage with the ability to be decomposed will kill you.
Yeah.
So if you fall in a volcano, like if somebody casts you into the fires of Mount Doom.
Yeah. No, this was, if I probably, even 14 days was pushing it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but it had to push it so that they'd stop looking.
Yeah, I think when you got pulled out, you were about a third of an upper body.
Yeah.
And you were some bones in the lower half that probably fell loose.
Yeah. And yeah. But I'm glad that Benny got face to face with what it would look like to create his own army of super soldiers.
Yeah.
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 So.
You would have made an amazing bad guy Soviet, because I would have sicked you on the group immediately.
Yeah, Supreme Soviet.
Yeah, I mean, they have the technology, they could rebuild you. I mean, they give you some cybernetic parts. You've got some pretty decent abilities to begin with, physical abilities. I mean, Eclipse's abilities were... Let me pull this up.
Yeah, way more than Wolverine claws, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had Dark Force powers, so that was like the ability to like take people. Oh, here's a Red Guardian. That's the people I was looking for. Oh God, I forgot. This is so long ago. It's in the old blue loose leaf folders. Irish Heroes, is that it? I think this is it. This is old stuff. We'll end the recording here.